What's going on, everyone? This is very interesting. I'm going to try and do this off 2 phones because I don't have Wi-Fi in my office yet. They're going to make me wait a whole week. So I'm going to try and watch myself on another phone so I don't have to like look at... Oh, look at there. Will it show me the whole thing? See, will it show me the live chat? Somebody say anything. Is there... Because if I can watch myself on a live chat, that'd be pretty sweet. Because then I can just answer questions. I can just read it right here. I don't have to awkwardly touch the screen and make a stupid face like normal. Because, you know, that's happened in the past. Yeah, not seeing it. Not seeing the, like, will it just let me go in there? All right. All right, well, okay, who knows? I can actually read this pretty good here. It's not too bad. What's going on, Peter Vaughn? How are you guys? How's everyone? Happy Sunday. And what's going on, Gator? Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. How'd you like the vid? Okay, so I've been carrying on. Do I have any suggestions for a Jon boat to bass boat on a budget? CT, there are so many videos on YouTube for just that. Like, there's an exponential amount of budget videos of people doing things. Like, what are we talking about a budget? Things blew up really, really badly, blew up in price in the past few months for reasons we all know but can't say here today. They're extremely expensive. I paid $60 for a half-inch piece of sanded plywood to make something completely different, but that's obscene. $60 for a half-inch sheet of plywood. That's here. It's probably worse other places. EVA foam to plywood, completely doable. You can, if I were to do that, just resin coat the wood. Make sure it's nicely sanded and make sure it's resin coated and there's a nice even surface. EVA foam will go right on it. Or you don't, I mean, you have to resin coat the wood anyways. If you're going to put EVA foam on wood, I would resin coat the wood at least. And you can use contact cement also. Contact cement right on wood. Obviously, the treated wood, not treated wood, but, you know, like preserved wood. That'll do fine. People do it. I have actually an all wood panel on my boat because I ran out of aluminum. I didn't want to do another one. I want to buy a whole new sheet to do a 2-foot panel, and the other one's out of 3/4 inch plywood on the very, very back of my personal boat. And I just used contact cement. Went right on. It's never going to come off. You got to throw the whole panel away though. Andre, okay, it's going too fast. Let me see. 4-foot with a 14-foot game fisher aluminum. I'm just gonna have to touch this screen. I have a full setup coming for like actually good live streams. Right now this is off an iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is actually much better looking than this. So I have 2 phones. It's strange. Like, I'm gonna release a video on my other channel on why I have 2 phones. But I'll say that this one does not distort my face and make me look like a weirdo. Less than the Droid did. The Droid selfie, it's actually improved a lot on this camera. This is the S21. But the other Droid I had, I don't want to talk about it. Here. Canadian prices are worse, I'm sure. I have people from Canada hitting us up to see if they'll get it, if we can ship them kits, which we can, but I think it's just really expensive everywhere. Fishing the Southwest. If my boat had some old paint on it, would I be able to put spray paint? It depends on what, like how old, like 1950s old, like where there's still lead in the paint. Really, it's a risk. Whether or not regular paint will bond to it. It can. You know, that's real annoying. I turned off the volume on this thing. It can. It can. You can try it. I mean, I don't see the whole harm in trying it. Like scuffing it up with a scouring pad, like real good, wiping and rinsing it off, cleaning with acetone, and then spray painting it. If it fails, it's still substantially less. You'll have to strip off the whole paint anyways, so it's totally worth to try. It's not a guarantee. If you can just scuff up your old paint and then spray paint's going to immediately adhere. It's pretty good chance though that it will. Not guaranteed, but if it's not, you're out like $10. Yeah, you're out like $10. You'll know immediately after like the first coat or second coat whether or not whether it's going to orange peel or drip or stick or it's going to flake. You'll know immediately. So I would try it. I would definitely try it. And I'm also going to try to shut this phone off because it won't be quiet. Hold on. All right. Down. All right. What do I think of a 1442 all weld? I think all weld boats are awesome. Bobby Crane, right? 1442 will do it. Andre, there's... What's the best method to attach catfish blog? You're a member of mine. Thank you for being a member, man. I really appreciate it. Okay, so fiberglass boats. The best method to attach fiberglass is with more fiberglass. That's the best absolute way. But if you're going to do it, you're not going to add fiberglass. You're going to add like aluminum inside it. I had a fiberglass like Carolina skiff at one point in time, and what I did there was I used bolts, nuts and bolts. Or actually, no, I had wood. I had like wood braces inside of the frame, and I drilled from the outside of the frame, and I had like a rubber grommet so you wouldn't actually crack the glass. And so there was like there was a cushion. There's a line of cushion inside the frame that I attached the side rails to, and I made the side rails to. And then it had a subfloor, and you could drill inside the subfloor and seal it off as long as you sealed it with the right kind of epoxy or 5200. You can, if you find out where the studs are, because I mean the glass is generally wrapped around the wood. If you can find where that is, go right in there. But the better way is to kind of learn how to glass. There's people on YouTube that's all they do. They do a pretty good job. And if you just fiberglass in your own stuff, it's gonna be heavier, but it's gonna be awesome. It'll look factory like that. And I miss my J14, but the rivers out here are a little ruthless. Kind of ended my boat. All right, so there's lots of. Hey, if I don't get your questions, don't like spam them, but you can go ahead and kind of re-push them in. There's never so many people in these lives that it's overwhelming. So I'll definitely get to you, and then hopefully some of my crew will jump in and also maybe answer some of these questions. All right. Sycamore, going to be taking your Gen 1 tiny boat out again. Gotta love the 1236 single person fishing. Yeah, I think the 1236 is probably perfect. The new trackers, the new 1236 trackers look very deceivingly big. Like I thought they were 14. I had to look at it again to make sure it was a 12. So I think they're doing away with the 32-inch bottom for sure. I haven't seen those floating around in Bass Pro in a while. Okay, I'm gonna try and go through. I would go 4-stroke Andre all day, unless you know how to work on 2-strokes and you have somebody who can tweak them, or you just love a 2-stroke. But the 4-strokes, I don't know, I just like 4-strokes. They're quieter, they're more efficient. They may not be as powerful in the high end, but they pretty much beat a 4-stroke in most all the other ends. Unless you like know how to tweak on them, and you have somebody who knows how to do some stuff, then it makes sense. Then it makes sense to have 4-stroke, because then you can really do some serious tweaking to them. Like you can't tweak 4-strokes at all. Like mess with the ECU chips or any of that stuff. It's kind of whatever. Sometimes you can get an old carbureted 4-stroke and tweak it, but it's still, you gotta watch it. You have a Yamaha 4-horse, 14-foot game fisher. This is for Andre. What do you do to make it better? The Yamaha? I don't know. I do not know. Let me see. Somebody help him out there. I don't know how to answer that question. I don't want to blow smoke up anybody's, you know what. What thickness of aluminum would you recommend for framing? I only use 1/16, but I'm always framing small boats. But if you have a boat that's like 16, like 17 foot or bigger, I would maybe, generally those will take bigger motors. Like if I was going to frame an actual bass boat, redo a bass boat with a 50 horse or bigger, you could use 1/8. You probably should use 1/8 because those boats are going to be going at higher speeds, hitting waves higher. Any boat that goes over 30 miles an hour, you probably should frame with 1/8 just because of the simple shutter and the I don't know. That's what. But I'm generally running boats with a 25 horsepower cap, and they're not going 30. They're doing 25 or under. What's going on, Tuan Lee? How are you? Vinyl flooring? I don't like vinyl. I don't like it. It's other than it covers and it makes wood not look like wood or what cover aluminum. It doesn't do anything else. It's relatively no cushion. It gets really hot. It's pretty. It just doesn't really provide any extra value. There's no cushion and there's no heat reduction. So I think vinyl is like. I mean, even bunk carpet will provide some heat reduction, a little bit more comfort. So I mean, vinyl is really down there on the bottom. So if you're going to use it, like put it inside your compartments somewhere. I wouldn't use it for stuff that you're actually going to be walking on and off all the time. Great question for what? I have a Coleman Crawdad, which is a plastic Jon boat. Do you have any advice? I would not convert a plastic Jon boat. Well, maybe I would if I had one here. I would think about it. I would just be very careful. There's a little bit of advantage to a plastic Jon boat. Like if you hit something and you puncture it, you can pretty much weld it up with a heat gun or a blowtorch and a spatula. You can kind of mess around with it. You can add, there's some advantage to it, but the other disadvantage is that they crack. There's this, unless you can get underneath inside the hull and put grommets on the other side, then I don't know how you're going to bolt anything into it. And I mean, they're like double hull. Is the Coleman Crawdad a double hull boat? Like it looks like it has a double hull. Like it's not just one big piece of plastic. I'd have to look at it. It's doable. Like he did a Coleman Crawdad for his son. Like it was a very basic layout with a really, really nice turf job on top, but he did it. And it worked. He said it was like the fastest boat out there for their non-electric tourneys. So I would assume it's just doable. I don't have a whole lot of faith in plastics. So I haven't converted a yak. I mean, they're all the HDP, high density polyethylene. It's nice. It's tough, but it doesn't. If I leave a yak out here in the summer, like Havasu, or I just leave it out in my backyard, like come fall, like I gotta have to worry about how that's gonna do when I put it back on the water. Is it gonna split in half? Is it gonna crack? I mean, get an HDPE bucket and fill, and just leave that out in your yard, and then go and try and fill water with it and watch if it doesn't explode after like a really hot summer. So I take plastic boats at face value because it's plastic. The tent poles are okay. I missed a lot. Nate, thank you for coming here. Nate Eckold is my not really long time, but he's my partner, another very, very knowledgeable like master level builder here. So if he calls your name, pay attention because he's gonna try and sort through. He's probably likely got a computer screen and can sort through the chat. Appreciate it. Lunder or Lumacraft? Oh, that's bad. I'm a real big Lumacraft fanboy, but I've only dealt with one Lund, and I love that boat. But I mean, I've seen X amount of Lumacrafts, and so I personally like a Lumacraft more. But they're both. I think Lumacraft and Lund. I don't really know what else competes directly with them. Like maybe Smokercraft. Smokercraft does pretty good too. There's a few of them out there. Like if you're out there and you're independent and you're a boat company, you haven't been bought up by Johnny Morris yet, and then liquidated or renamed or exploited, then you're a pretty good boat company. You have to be a pretty good boat company. You have to build really pristine, solid boats to be out there and not be one of Johnny Morris's like umbrellas. He's like literally bought up all the other boat companies and done things with them. To him that okay, before he comes after me, I'm gonna stop talking about that guy. Let me see. Yes, I agree with John Sedler. The sun will kill a plastic boat all day. The Express boats, yes, Express is also very nice. I don't know if the Express makes John boats though. G3 I also heard is pretty good. I think we're at the bottom. See if I can answer anything good here. Okay. Here's a Jelko question. How do I tab the floor into the sides while making it look good? I don't know. Just remember that fiberglass is much easier to work with than aluminum. Like, all it is resin and, like, fiberglass, which is soft until you put resin on it, and that's what makes it hard. So you literally can do anything to fiberglass. There's some really good tutorials out there to where you can, I mean, you can repair an entire hull. Like, if you took a fiberglass panel and went and shot it up in the woods and then brought it back, you can repair that thing and you can never tell. Like, nobody would ever know the difference if you didn't tell anybody. What's going on, MD? How did I do what? Is the Dartcraft any good? I'd have to look at the boat. A lot of those companies are, I don't know. If you have to ask whether or not like a company is good, if they're still around, they're probably really good. Yeah, if you Google that boat and you can't find it in Google, then you should go really look at it. Like, take a really good look at it. I have a Q&A on what kind of boat you should get for a project like this. It's right in my Q&A section, right on my, so if you click on my name, it's right there. It's like, that's exactly how I would go pick a boat, if any of you are wondering. Okay. What do I think is 100% best outboard brand? I would pick the one that's closer to you, that has the most support. Like right now, right down here, like Mercury runs the West Coast, and so I'm not gonna go get a Yamaha because there's just no support for them here. Like, there's not a lot, even though people really like Yamahas. But down in the East Coast, Yamaha exceeds Mercury, I believe, and they have tons of support. Like in Florida, I probably would go for Yamaha in Florida, even though they're ugly. If we were talking about like which motor looks the best, the Yamahas are all ugly. I don't really know. That's not very useful to say. It doesn't provide any real value, but God, man, their engines are ugly. I don't know what it is about them. They gotta fix that. The Mercs look better, and they perform. I don't know. I think Mercury's been a little bit more innovative. They've come out and done some really cool things. They launched like a V12 outboard. I think that's what it was. It was obscene. So I would say Mercury is my personal favorite. And there is some bias in there, so I wouldn't really. It does suck that Evinrude closed for sure. Because I really did want to try one of their 25-4 C-Techs. I just could never get a hold of one. And now I'm just really sketched to get a hold of one because we're going to get parts for an Evinrude now. Unless somebody bought them up and is selling aftermarket parts. But to find a tech that's going to deal with Evinrude E-Techs now, that's still around, I think that, I don't know, you have to be connected. I wouldn't get an Evinrude now, specifically because, like, they're not around anymore. Just like I wouldn't get a boat from a company that's not around anymore. Like, I would have to be really cautious about that. Like, why are they not around? You have an Evinrude trolling motor. You should post pictures of that thing in our group, Facebook group. I want to see that. All right. Do the collab with that boat guy? Who's that? Who's the boat guy? Who's that guy? Let me see. Who's the boat guy? That. Yeah, I mean, I have to look up. Oh, I have to look into it. Where does he live in Florida? Looks like he's a Florida guy. Okay. I'm obviously not going to watch one of his boats here, or his videos here, but he looks legit, huh? Have to check into that. All right. What else we got here? Okay, so I think we're catching up here. with some of the questions. Yeah, you can send it to me through email or Instagram. And Peter, I did choose Alumacraft as my personal favorite, but that doesn't mean that it's actually better than Lund. And I think that boat guy is out actually in Florida. He's clear across the country from me. And so probably not going to collab with him. I do plan on going to Florida though and collabing with like Kayak DIY. So maybe I'll hit him up and see if he's around, if he wants to do something. But he seems like he's pretty good. Am I going to do more homemade bait videos? You know what? I think I will, because they finally started trending. So I throw a video out there and it either trends or it doesn't. If I throw too many videos out there that don't trend, I lose impressions on YouTube. So YouTube has kind of made it to where you need to stick strictly to a certain content. So you can't deviate too much. But the bait videos, they did do okay. If I get more good response and the video keeps doing well, but it took it months to do well, which is not the greatest. So it seems like I can't launch too many of them. But I do want to, because I did record a few things. And I want to catch a few more fish to like make the videos really impactful on those baits. So yeah, they're coming. They are coming, for sure. Oh yeah, Gatorback, you guys are in Florida? Sweet. All right, we'll see. I mean, Florida's a big state. I don't know if I'm going to be near you, but we'll be down there somewhere down there. I'll figure it out. What camera setup do I use for my videos? Well, that kind of plays into like what I was gonna do for updates, but we kind of immediately went into Q&A. But this is actually my new office. I got a studio because I've been like a pajama warrior for the past year. You know, working from your home is kind of cool. You don't have to wake up to an alarm unless you want to. You don't have to dress or impress anybody. You can sit on your couch and just go and you just work there, and that was cool. But then it got kind of like, then it kind of got draggy. And then my family, it seems like nobody, not my family or my friends, they don't think I have a real job. And they don't respect me. So they don't, people are not terribly quiet in the house. And so I just like, it was really hard to actually do content and build stuff and then put up with them. And like, it seems like I never left my house. And so I went and got an office. So I picked one here pretty cheap. I'll just give you guys a little tour. I mean, it'll tour right into that. Let me see, I'll pull this out real quick. Smartphone's the way of the future, man. Here, hold on. I can't turn the light on. All right, just quick view with the little bit of light I have. So I use this one for a lot. That's a Canon M50. It's their small compact mirrorless camera. And that's like, if you look around, like all the beginning YouTubers, they say, get this one does a lot of stuff. And so I used that one for a while. I outgrew it, but it's really good just for studio stuff. And then I'll talk AMD vesting. I'll talk about my sub count and everything and how that plays in. This is like my main rig. That's a Sony A7S III. And with a Rode Video Mic Go on a Zhiyun Weeble. And this thing actually takes fantastic videos. It's pretty insane. I got a little camera monitor because you can't see the LCD screen when you have the gimbal floating down. Like, if you guys really want to see like how I record stuff, we'll do it. I got other stuff here. I got a camera bag here. I got my other stuff in here. I got another Sony I kind of went all Sony. They seem to be dominating the video market, and so videography, and they still take really good photos too. I think Canon still has it for photos, but I mean, between photography and videography, that thing actually takes fantastic photos and pretty good video for what it is. Like, it looks like a small little Walmart camera, but that thing decimates. It's only like $500. And then the whole thing is like the EF lenses for Canon. They've been around so long that you can get those very much in bulk for cheap on eBay because there's so many of them out in circulation. Sony, it's pretty expensive. Like, their lenses aren't out. They've been dominating the market, but they haven't been around for a while. So it's like, it's different. This is my little bootleg setup. I don't know if you caught that when I was leaving. This is This is my MacBook with a hard drive on the back. These are the stupid ring lights I have right now because I don't have, like, I'm getting a lighting fixture. I'm gonna make this whole thing a pretty good studio. And I record all the stuff through a Blue Yeti and some regular headphones I got from Ross, and then a USB to USB-C mic jack. And you can also do this with an iPhone because they have certain editing software you can just listen to your entire audio and record right on there. It's actually the easiest way to speed up your workflow. Then I got this thing, which is pretty insane. I have a review on the two phones coming out, but this S21, if you're gonna like start a YouTube channel, you could film, edit, and produce crazy things with this phone. I'll talk about it. Now the gimbal, my stupid little drone that I don't use. And then, let me switch around here. Switch around. Come on, do it. Is it gonna do it? It did it. Okay. So that's kind of how I've been rocking. Mainly what I do use it is GoPros. I love GoPros. The Hero 8 and the Hero 9 are pretty much like my staple. Like, you can get the Hero 9. The Hero 9 will do insane things. Like that camera I showed you back over there, that camera by itself is just a little bit under $4,000 just to even use it without buying a lens. But you can get a GoPro like Hero 9, has pretty much the same stats in terms of what it can do, the frame rates, the slow-mo, and all that. It has a fixed lens, but that thing is only $350. So it's like, I would rather have like 10 GoPro. That's why I've self-filmed for so long that I kind of just made GoPros my deal. I'm also standalone DIY. I don't have anybody shooting for me unless I'm collaborating with my crew. And sometimes I can talk my son away from like playing video games, and he'll go and like help me out. And I'm actually gonna make him work for me this summer. I'm gonna make him intern here in this office. Since I have an office, he's gonna like intern and film it. He's actually pretty good. So we'll like actually see if he can pull it off. Hold on. You dropped in the water? Oh. Man, bolts. Through bolts. All the motors have through bolts. I missed all the questions here. Can you have my drone? You know, I picked up that drone at a Costco for $350. They were like on sale. That's the only reason I have a drone. And then I just shoot it for B-roll. Like, it gets overhead footage. I don't actually really use it too much in play. I have super expensive gimbals and cameras that will, with stabilization, that will float like a drone. And so I don't have to use a drone. Plus, you have to go get a license. That means I have to go drive to Vegas and get a license. And I might do it. I might do it. But it's not like a big thing. But the thing, somebody asked about sub count with 89,000. So I am a full-time YouTuber, or full-time media creator, full-time filmmaker. Not really, I don't know if I call myself that, but you know, I'm a full-time content creator here. And yeah, I'm doing it with just 89,000 subs, but subs aren't really a big deal. They are a big deal if you just have a bunch of young people, because it's all the young people that are your fan base. If they subscribe, like they're very much have accounts in pretty much all social media platforms. But a lot of people my age, and it seems to be my age demographic that watches these videos consistently, they don't really care about subscribing, or they just don't have a Google account. They just go on the internet and search Google, and then my videos pop up. So, but it's all about watch time. So I have, you look up somebody with more subscribers than me, but I have a lot more viewed hours, like a lot more channel views. I have over 10 million channel views now, which is still small considering the whole spectrum of stuff, but 10 million channel views for how many subs I have, it's actually a really good ratio. So it really is about channel views versus subs. Subs just make you look more pro. They make you look more credible, more established. And then really, but that's only a benefit I get from subs. I don't really relate from subs. Only 15% of my channel like views are actually from subs. It's pretty small. And yeah. Or long, yeah, and also people rewatch my videos and rewatch them. And so it's, being a DIY tuber is probably about as good as it gets. You don't have to do anything trendy. You don't have to do anything like you don't have to be a fake boy out there, you know, like doing stupid things just to get like views to trend. People kind of watch you based on the quality of content you can produce. And if you produce good DIY videos, you don't have to do any of the other stupid stuff. You never like, I can't ever see YouTube coming after DIYers. YouTube's coming after people with firearm channels. YouTube's coming after people with like potty mouths. YouTube is coming after people with political talk shows. And they've just annexed and cut people out and had adpocalypses, but I can't see them ever coming after a DIY channel. They can maybe come after fishing, then I might be in trouble. Like, I think that's down the line, but it hasn't been an issue yet. So let's just hope it's not a thing. All right, so let's back to boats, guys. Okay. What's going on here? You get on fishing the Southwest, you get on average 97 subs per day. I do? Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know that. Yeah, DMV Bass Brothers are a pretty good channel too. They're very cool. Maybe I'll collab with them. I like to collab with other tiny boaters. That's the bigger thing. Like, that's where I've been already. I've tried to collab with other like YouTube fishermen, and I haven't tried the hardest, but it just seems like the people who I'm gonna like collab with and do the most work with are people in that niche, like the pro fishermen and the YouTube fishermen. I tried to like collab with a low key YouTube fisherman that went pretty not good. I did a podcast with Ike, and then I had a little bit after that, stuff did not really go too good. It seems like you got to be really careful with who you, damn, I don't have my mic in. You got to be really careful with who you talk to. Sound better? I took out the mic. I don't know. Let me know if this sounds better, if it even makes a difference. But I have like an external mic. Ryan Davis, I have stripped out my hole for my rod locker, and I would have carpet. But if there are products, stripped out hole for your rod locker and would have to rip up the carpet to get underneath the holes. Yeah, probably not. You're probably gonna have to rip that carpet up. That does suck. Do you know, is it old carpet? Or is it fairly new? Can you get a new piece of carpet and it's not gonna like look way better than the rest of your old carpet? You might have to redo the whole thing. I'd have to have a picture. Maybe there's a way to get around it, but we'd have to actually see it. Okay. All right. What's going on, Rockin' HDMI? How are you? Okay. Good. Yeah, it's supposed to sound better than the phone. Thank heaven. Thank heaven. All right, went back to the mic. Okay, that's pretty cool. You guys are all trying to help him out. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad. My voice is low? What do you mean low? Is it still low? Yeah, I didn't think too much. I should have just like grabbed this whole rig and flipped it around. That's what I should have done. Yeah, Sam, your Johnson trolling motor, send us a picture of that thing, man. I want to see it. What's going on, Wild Bill? How are you, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, very cool. All right, thanks for the sound check there. All right, so we'll wait for some questions to roll in, and then we'll talk about some announcements. So this whole week I've kind of been laying a little low and trying to build this kind of stuff up. I've been hitting some, some yard sales, some like Facebook Marketplace sales. Got about $1,000 of furniture for $165. And I have this idea of what I want to build for a studio. I want to do a few other things. I wanted to move away from where I was at, and my wife kind of shut that down. And so after haggling with that, I realized she wasn't going to let me move, because if I went to like the Florida or to Georgia or somewhere like that where, tiny boats are actually part of the culture, or even Texas, I think I could do substantially bigger things than versus being here in Lake Havasu, where I'm the only tiny boater. It's me and then Ben sometimes, but he mainly likes the yaks. So being out here is kind of like I got to work with everybody from afar, and I got to go fly places, and I don't like flying, but it's just something I'm gonna have to do. So I realized I wasn't gonna get her to do that, so I ended up just getting an office. And so how I plan on still kind of growing a little bit is I'll have a professional studio, and it's gonna be under an umbrella media company that so we now have an official sponsor, which is me. So I'm sponsoring myself, kind of it's Drax. It's called Drax Media. It will be, so you might be seeing that float around. If you're following me on any platform, you might be seeing that watermarked or logoed, or you might actually see that previewed in some of these videos. That's gonna be my umbrella media company. So I can, so that one will be a little bit more universal. Like the Tiny Boat Nation is just really, I can't go and do other things. The Tiny Boat Nation is strictly, it's about tiny boats and fishing. That's all YouTube's ever going to let it be, because of how the YouTube algorithm is. And really, that's how the audience prefers it. So if I want to do some other stuff, I got to go make either another channel, or have to go make another venue. So I already have a universal DIY channel called DIY Culture. That's also on YouTube. And that's where I put all the stuff because I do a lot of projects, but I record everything. And so anything that's useful that I think is a good universal DIY project goes on that channel. And I can't afford what? Never mind. Yeah, but I just lost track. When are you going to get back to the Jon Boat build? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Lonnie Simmons, I'm going to get back to it tomorrow. Tomorrow. Definitely going to get back to it. And so you should see possibly the John Yak video. You should probably possibly seen it float around Wednesday or Thursday. That's a bigger reason why I'm doing the live Q&A, to let you know I didn't get anything done this week. And I have nothing edited. So we'll be able to go ahead and push that out here later in the week. And so there's at least something here to let you guys know that's what's going on. And how can you send a picture without Facebook? Instagram? Maybe TikTok? Possibly. Recently purchased, so from Ryan Spencer, recently purchased a 98 CNIF TX 175. In the process of building it. Bottom half of the pour foam that was put is waterlogged. No, you got to cut it out. It does not like to let go of water, Ryan. Yeah, it's out. It's got to go. And then likely underneath all that waterlog, there's probably corrosion and pitting. Because what we've found over a longitudinal basis, both Nate and I, in ripping, gutting out all these old boats, is that where the pour foam is, there's often a lot of serious corrosion and pitting. And I think it's either caused by A, the chemicals in the pour foam themselves, or B, water saturation, prolonged sitting there. Because if water just sits on aluminum long enough, it'll start to do things. But we're pretty. I also have a 1648 low project, and that's going to come up right after this John Yak's done, which I don't have a whole lot to do with. I just gotta have the time to do it. But I completely aluminum barrier coated that entire thing with primer, because there was corrosion and pitting from the pour foam, and so before we pour it back in or before we do anything to the boat at all, like the inside and the outside of the hull are now protected. And so that also has odd corrosion spots in weird places that shouldn't have it. So I'm thinking somebody took that into like the bay. I think it was not just a bass boat, it was a bay boat at some point in time. We got it from Cali, so I don't know. Any tips for getting more subs and views? I'm really struggling to get subs. So YouTube likes more videos uploaded. I don't know how many subs you got fishing the southeast. Because if you're a beginning YouTuber now in 2021, YouTube is not really going to like you anyways. Like you have to get out a lot of. I guess you have to get out a lot of videos. But at the beginning, a lot of videos don't really help you. So it's like the quality of the content. So if you don't get a video a week, it doesn't matter. Like try and just do the best content you possibly can in terms of editing and grasping it on film. And it just really takes one video to trend. You can make 100 videos. If one of those videos trends, that's when your channel starts to get growth and YouTube starts to like you. It starts to introduce you to somebody else. Like somebody will watch your video, it sees that it's kind of trending, so they'll introduce it to more people, and if they like it, they'll introduce more of your videos to that person. And if they keep liking, that's how YouTube does it. But at the beginning, it's hard to trend. It's hard to trend. A lot of people say people miss the boat. I don't believe that because people get bored. People get bored looking at me. They'll go and watch DMB, or they'll go watch somebody else. So you just kind of have to the key to it is honestly just to keep uploading videos. But if you're a beginning, just do the best possible quality videos you can. Watch filmmakers, watch tutorials. There's this website called Skillshare, and it talks about pretty much how to be a minimalist filmmaker if you're standalone. Because being a standalone filmmaker is, it is what it is. But if you're just consistent at it, you can grow. It takes a while for you to figure out where your channel is too. Like it took even me a little bit. I had an unfair advantage. Like I think with this channel, because I was one of the only first ones really doing the YouTube thing consistently for this stuff, and that in my projects kind of exploded to where my boats at the time, I had nobody to compete against me in terms of what I was putting out in the features. And so people kind of were forced to only watch me because there was nobody else. There was Ryan, and then Ryan left. And then a lot of people liked Ryan, but then he just up and left and then came back 3 years later. But the whole time, so I kind of had an unfair advantage in that venue. Picking the venue is really important. Something that you're really good at. So I just ended up being really good at this venue. Not really that great of a YouTuber at first or at all. But I was good at what I did, and so people watched me anyways. I don't know what this says about me now, but I'm trying to be the best filmmaker and YouTuber I can be now, in conjunction with creating stuff. And so I think if you're a good YouTuber first, people know. Because in my DIY culture channel, I only have 15 videos, and that channel has substantially more subscribers and views than this one ever got with 15 videos. And this channel was initially a paintball channel, and I got abysmal amount of views and subscribers. And that's a hard venue to break into. It wasn't my niche. But I love paintball, so I tried, but it wasn't what it was going to be. So, how about ask the master, Michael? What? Ask me what? I keep missing stuff. Oh, hey, Peter. Hey, thank you for that money. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, there is a super chat here. And so if you want to, all donations, just so you know, will be reinvested into this channel. And it's pretty much how I'm able to afford this office and do anything. And so thank you very much for all that. I really appreciate it. Okay, hold on. How much to build a tiny boat? I have videos on that. I actually have two. on the Q&A playlist. It'll just take a really long time to explain that here. I can tell you, if you go and watch those videos, there's a lot of stuff put into those videos, including a recent one where I compare my 2 most expensive builds. And I think really just rough ballpark figure, if you have $3,000 and you do it yourself, you can build a pretty nice boat with $3,000 and not a whole lot of crazy pieces. Price of Kusa board, I don't know. I would assume that everything went up. Everything under the sun went up in expenses. That's just what happens when a Democrat comes in office. Yeah, I said it. What? Is this true? Tell me when it has not done this. Anyway, I'm not gonna turn. That's it. That's all I'll say about it. End of rant. But yeah, everything is super expensive here. Everything is super expensive here, and it'll be like that for a little bit until things settle down. So we'll see. Am I going to have any wraps for boats? We need a wrap guy. The wrap and the painting, that's such a unique, specific skill that it really eats up all your time to do it well. Like, people that do those things do that and only that, and so we'll see. What's going on, Lonnie? I look at some of your builds from when you started. Yeah, I have. Thank heaven. What's going on, Chris? What is the best place to sell a V-hull? On the Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist. Those are the only place that I could really think where you'd have success. In the TBNation, we have a lot of state pages, and so you can put it there. I would try the state page. I know Arizona they sell a lot of boats on the state page. I have very little to do with that page, or Facebook in general. I lost the comment. Dang it. Okay. Tin Boat Man. You have 1542 Lumacraft. I have dropped Blaster. You dropped it in, and you had corrosion around the So this low I have, the 1648 low has corrosion. You can get a sacrificial anode and attach it somewhere down to the bottom of your boat, and that should get the corrosion before your boat corrodes at all. And they have a lot of sacrificial anodes on the bottom of actual, like, your motors, because your motors, you should see them. They're just a weird, off-looking, dull piece of like a metal disc, and that has been proven that it goes to the path of least resistance, or whatever is most corrodable. So it just goes and corrodes there before it corrodes your motor, or before it corrodes your boat. So that's the best way to kind of, at least, those things get eaten up, and then you can just replace the anode at will once you really see them eat up in salt water. You might see a sacrificial anode last for years and years in like a freshwater deal, but in the saltwater, I think everybody runs anodes. If you don't run a sacrificial anode on your boat, and on your trolling motor, and on your outboard motor, I don't know, saltwater just tears everything up. It's a different venue. All right. Let me see what you guys got here. Hey, Paul. How are you? How's Texas? What's the best way to check an outboard motor that's been sitting for 15 years? I would just replace the impeller. I would replace the gear oil. I would replace everything in that motor. Just replace it all. You know what? I just haven't got around to it, Barry, about the welder. It's on my list. I really need to learn how to weld. I'm just so successful without having to weld that, like, the incentive to go for it and learn all the BS I have to learn for it isn't there. All I have to do is go buy an argon tank 10 minutes down the road. If you guys bug me about it, I will go and get a welder. Like, I really follow what my audience wants. If my audience says, go get a welder, I will go do it. Like, you guys are pretty much my governing body. I work for you. So, just if you guys want me to weld, and if you harass me, I will do it. I won't do it for anybody else, but for you guys, I'll do it. I won't even do it for me. I mean, we've done pretty good things with rivets, right? Like, we've done things that people said you couldn't do with rivets, and we did them, I think. And I'm all about empowering the DIYer. That's a bigger thing. The average DIYer is not going to go and invest in a welder. You might, I mean, a lot of DIYers actually have welders because those are the serious do-it-yourselfers. They can do anything. But so we might look into it. Right. Got a lot of comments flooding really quickly. Mike, is Jason Braun still doing decals? Yes, he did. In fact, these are some from him that we're going to give away. We're going to be giving some decals away. Yeah. Look at all these. Just gonna give these away. Here, let me get my computer up so I can just type your name and address. Usually I have this weird thing where I don't have a computer around me at all. And so I tell you guys to message me on Instagram, and then some of you do, some of you don't. And then like some of them get buried. So I'll be able to write your names here. Like right here on the notes. Okay. Yeah, people have... Okay. Dude, just... What's going on, Tony? How are you? Okay, so everybody's wanting to see a welder. I just gotta go get an Argon tank and I'll go mess around with it. It doesn't seem terribly hard. I think if I just mess around with it for a day, I'll get it. I think so. Alright. Fishing the Southwest, you need decals for your Jon boat? PM me. Since you... Go ahead. DM me on Instagram and give me your address. I can't get it here in the chat. Don't put your personal information out here in the chat for everybody to have. But if DM me on Instagram at TinyBoatNation, and I'll send you some decals. Who wants a built not bought sticker? Who wants it? All right. All right. You need decals in Georgia, Larry? All right, Larry. PM me on Instagram and I'll get you a few decals out. All right, at TinyBoatNation with your address, and obviously tell me you need decals. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to just name off a few names here because I don't know if I have enough decals to give all of you. I mean, there's not that many people in the chat room, thank heaven. Let me see. Okay, Paul Jensen. Everybody here who I name off, your name. Just DM me, direct message me on Instagram. And I will... And then give me your address, and I will send you one out. We'll be doing it here from the office. Okay, so Paul Jensen, Bearded Bass Caster, for sure, we're going to send you some decals, man. John R., Harold Fisher, Twan Lee, for sure, man, you can get decals. And Twan Lee, also mentioned that you're a YouTube member. I'll give you a little something extra for being a YouTube member and supporting me here. All right, you get extra decals for being a member. And Fishing with Goran. All right. You guys got decals coming. And then I think that's actually, yeah, I got to send the rest to patrons. Have I built a riverboat yet? No. I guess it's like see a need, fill a need. I have not built a riverboat yet. River Road jet boat. You know who has JDS Outdoors is one of our affiliated partners in the Tin Can crew, and he has built the most insane jet boats. So if you're looking about that kind of content, I would go and check out his videos. And we have collabed with him. That guy's a pretty good genius, and he's also trying to do the whole YouTube thing. Eventually, I think he will be a full-time tuber. All right. Four by four community. Okay. All right. Let's see. Where you best? Where are you where am I based out of? Ah. Okay. So here's another thing. I don't actually build boats for the public anymore. I have. But you know who does? Nate. Nate builds them for the public, and he does a very good job. And we and him have actually teamed up to build boats for other people. But our primary, if we had a primary place, it's down there in Illinois at his shop. So if you really, I don't know if you're close to the Midwest or willing to drive there, and you have expendable income, then you hit up Nate. Like, follow him on Instagram. That's him. Just check him out. But I won't build anybody else's boat for a lot of reasons. For one, it takes too long to build somebody's boat and then edit it all. And then they always rush me, and then they want to do something when I don't want to do it. And it's a really big pull. So arguably, I have like goals that I want to accomplish, and I've never been able to accomplish them because somebody else always owned the boat, or I didn't have the capital at the time. So now I have the capital, meaning I'm able to take care of my family, my household, and pay bills, and still have money left over for projects. And that's really where I needed to be in YouTube. And so now that I have that, I can take as long as I want, and I can make it how I need it to make it. So theoretically, I could reach all my goals. I have these insane ideas of how boats should turn out, and then there's always some shortcoming at the end because stuff started going not real good with the other person who owned the boat. Now ultimately they have all the leverage because they own the boat, and so I had to kind of cop and do what they said. It's not real good for the channel. So essentially one person dictates what goes into a project that all of you are going to watch. So I don't think that's really good. So I think all of you should dictate what goes into a project here. I think that's the best way. So if I build boats, I do build boats technically for people. I build them for all of you. They just don't go to anybody. Or they might get donated. Or they might go to a company basis where they're demoed for show. Like the 1232, the John Yak, I might actually I have a spot here in my office. That thing's light enough, I might carry it up the stairs and stick it in my door and just have it up here in the office. You guys stop by and see it. Maybe fish on it. We'll see. As far as like the boat building, I don't have a crew. I don't have like a big shop, and so just doing boats on my garage for people, it's just never been a good thing, I don't think. It's gotten us here. It's great, but there's only been about 4 really good ones. I mean, you can tell honestly which ones went really well where the partner, where it was at least really workable, and that was with the Lund and that was the Illumicraft, were my 2 best collabs. Everybody else, something happened, and some of that was my fault, and a lot of it was theirs. But where I was actually really free to work, you can tell. So that was the Lund. That was like the nicest guy who had that Lund boat. He's a super nice guy, super understanding, gave me all the time. And same thing with this guy with the Illumicraft. Super nice guy, funded everything, didn't give me problems, gave me all the time I needed. And then it shows. And so that's what I want. I want to put out, after I do a series, I want to build a boat from start to finish, put out videos in the series, and then the end reveal, I need that to trend. I need that to trend and go out to people. And if if anything happens in there, then it seems that some videos in the series will trend, but my end reveal won't. So you see a lot of my end reveal videos don't trend, and that's super unfortunate because all the work that goes into those when I could have been doing something else for you guys is like, never again. So, all right, that's the end of that. Right? That's why I won't do any for the public. It's not because I don't like you guys, but just because I don't think it's conducive to the channel at all. I can't get a whole lot done when I'm worried about, X, Y, and Z. All right, and Derek Rodriguez, yes, he's affiliated with us. Also, we actually are sponsoring him for a build because he's so good. He's like only 16, 17. I think he's about to be 18. He might be 18. But he built a boat when he was like 16, and it was better than, he was really high up there in terms of the craftsmanship and the complexity and the technical, all of the stuff in the build. He was really miles ahead. He's a little genius kid, for sure. Not really a kid anymore. He's young, so I call him a kid, but he's not. He's a grown-ass man, but he's, you know what I'm saying? Just check out his channel. He's really good. You'll see what I'm saying. If you check out his channel, there's a reason why we sponsored him and only him. And we generally don't sponsor people at all, but we sponsored him. And we were also probably going to sponsor one more person because he's also pretty good. Yes, so we'll probably be announcing that later on. But other than that, we generally don't try to sponsor anybody, and we don't take sponsors. And the main reason is freedom. And but we do like to give stuff away, and we do like to help people. So that's the trade-off. All right, let me catch up here. Smoke less too? I don't smoke at all. All right. Peter, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Will you ever tackle a glass bass boat? Yes, eventually. Hopefully within this year. The thinnest decking I've used is 3/8 plywood. And if used correctly, it does pretty good. As long as your hatches aren't too terribly big. There you go. For Harold, for Brian B, what's going on? What was whose name again? Nate Eckhold? He's in the chat. Hey, thank you, Red. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. All right. So still open for questions. And there's about a 10-second lag, I think. It was Derek Rodriguez? Yeah. Check him out. Subscribe to him. For sure. Check out his series. What is the ETA on the elite level build? Which one? Which one? I have goals that I want to do. So this is okay. So for you guys, this is my project because now I can do it with no interruptions. I'm going to finish this John Yak. This is supposed to be an elite level build that really sticks it to the yak market. And because I now have the time and the patience and the support from you guys to do it, we will accomplish it. That's why I didn't really go too far at it before. Because whether it was skill or lack of funding or lack of time, I just didn't. But now I have the time. So after that one's done, I will go and do the 1648, which that's pretty stiff competition because there are a lot of really elite 16-foot boat setups, and a lot of them have already been built by Nate. So the competition for that one is pretty stiff, but I will put out an elite level 1648 boat, and that will probably be my primary bass boat once I'm done. And then I'm going to redo my current smoker craft boat to be a family boat. That'll be pretty cool, like a ski and fish. We'll be doing that. And then I have 2 boats in the back. I don't want to be doing too many more like terribly advanced builds because the farther I go into those, it seems like a part of my audience gets pulled away. So I want to do some more simple things. I do want to do a bow fishing boat, like a platform. I have the perfect boat to do it. So that's what that's going to be. Then I have like a old low, like roughneckish type boat. Like you could tell it was built a little stiffer. Before they started calling them roughnecks, I had like that generation. It was like Lowy Big John or something. And I want to make that one a hunting boat or a flats boat or something else, not a bass boat. And then I have another one that I'm going to donate to a local business down here, DeFallon Marine, and that's going to kind of be our tiny boat collab boat where they kind of take it around and do stuff. And between that, that's what I have planned. That's 5 builds, 4, 5. And that's what I have planned. And after that, I will probably go to glass or just do something. I also want to make like an off-grid trailer. I want to document that, and I want to document a TinyBoatNation off-grid trailer but it's like a toy hauler for a small boat. Like I want to make an off-grid tiny boat toy hauler. That's what I really want to do. I want to make that more than anything else. I built like 20 boats. So I'm starting to kind of get burnt out, but I really want to build a tiny boat toy hauler bad, like worse than anything. Like I almost did it over the Yak Killer. The duck hunting boat is going to be pretty good. What's my bet? Okay, if you want to check out my setups for my boats, I definitely do have them. I definitely have them on the Q&A playlist, and I also have playlists for my boat specifically. But I run I have a 3 lead acid battery setup with just a 24-volt trolling motor, and then I have one big battery for all the fish finders and LEDs. And I just don't run a starter battery just so I can save weight. I straight have a straight pull cord Mercury. The best decking material It's just preference, but it's either EVA foam or carpet that are the best decking material. The carpet's definitely the most durable, but not the coolest, or it just depends. People like EVA foam for different reasons. You're replacing more for decking that you're replacing your Astroglass. 1/4 inch decking of what? I would definitely keep like for like if you can do it. Console on a 14-foot boat, I don't see the reason unless it's gonna be a bare bones boat, like nothing else in it. Like what else are you gonna do? The console's gonna take up all the room. You can't really do anything complex. And that's why I never consoled a 14-foot boat, because it's like the console and then everything else suffers because of the console, or we do no console and we make everything else like legit. So consoling a 14-foot boat is just not in line if you want like an elite level fishing boat. It's like terribly disruptive. You need a 16-foot boat minimum to run a center console, preferably like an 18. Once it's like 17, 18 feet, I think a center console makes a lot more sense because you can still put stuff around it and it's okay. Yeah, this is mainly my new editing space. I'm going to build an official studio on the other side for my main media company, and I'll be leaking more of that later on. I think, also for bearded basscaster, I think the OrthoDeck is the best stuff you can get. It's also really expensive though, compared to HydroTurf. But HydroTurf has been kind of stiffing everybody on back order. They've been back order for a few months, and some of it's their fault, some of it's not. But I know there's people who are not happy with us because of them, so we're not really happy with them. But they got bought out by MarineMatt. And so that's why everything was flawless until that happened, and then that happened, and now it has never been the same, and they've been on back order. Some people for complaining on 8 weeks, so just had a pretty not the greatest conversation, or not the greatest comment from somebody on this channel who bought from our store. And so if you bought HydroTurf from our store and you are just like really upset with the back order time, like let us know. There's things we can do. But the OrthoDeck is pretty awesome. The OrthoDeck is very good stuff, and that's what I'm going to do my boat. I'm going to do both my boats in OrthoDeck. I'm a bigger fan of it over HydroTurf. It's just costly. Come on, comments. The comment button thing went away. I can't see him anymore. Oh, there it is. Okay, so for batteries, Chris Barnett, this is how I would run batteries in a tiny boat. Run the smallest batteries you can get away with without going dead. And then, like for mine, I run 2 Group 24s, like Walmart batteries, lead acid, the Group 24 DCs. I run those for my trolling motor. You don't get the most power out of it, and you obviously don't have the longest lasting performance out of it, but I do get what I need to get done, and I do save a lot of weight. And then I was running a Group 24 for all my electronics, but I found that the LEDs really drain the battery. Like I have all this 10 gauge and stuff running for these fish finders and all this high-end electronics because that's supposed to drain the battery a lot. But really it's the LEDs. When I have those gunnel lights on and I have all the LEDs on, like if I'm working on my boat at night, I have those on, and you just watch my battery level just slide down. Within an hour, it just sucks it. Like if you leave all your LEDs on in your boat, within 2 hours, your accessory battery would be dead. Like, so if you're running a lot of LEDs, you need a bigger battery. If you're not, then you probably get away with the Group 24. 3 Group 24s, that's about 45 pounds a piece, 45, 90, 135. So 135, that's like a medium-sized child, a small person. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. But when you have to get up to the Group 27s and the Group 29s, especially the Group 31s, that's an obscene amount of weight. It's like 300 pounds. Like for the top heavy batteries. I try to avoid AGM batteries because AGM batteries are just all out the heaviest. And so I avoid those in tiny boats. Even though they would last longer, they're just so heavy. So unless you absolutely need an AGM in there, I would avoid it. You can go lithium, and we have got. I really do like lithiums in a boat because of the sheer lightness factor. That's my major thing. Like they have these 10-year warranties for a lot of these lithiums. I don't really buy that. So what's happened with that is, if anything happens to the lithium battery within the first year, it's pretty warranted, no questions asked. But anything after a year, they give you a bunch of grief about it, and they don't want to warranty the battery. So, I mean, anybody saying they're going to give you a 10-year warranty, that's suspect. I mean, a lot of companies just don't simply last 10 years at all. That's just the straight up truth. So if anybody offering you a 10-year warranty, I mean, that was fishy out the gate, but it sounded good. I mean, it sounded like they're so confident in this product that lithium is going to last that long that they're saying that they'll warranty that long, even though they may not. So, but it turns out that there's still a lot of problems with them. And so if you buy lithium, don't buy it because you think they're going to last longer. Buy them because of the sheer lightness factor and because it's absolutely necessary for your boat. Like some of you people running seriously complex like builds where all the parts and accessories are just stacking up and you need to cut weight somewhere, definitely look into lithium if you have the pockets for it. I think Tracker just actually released their line of lithium batteries at Bass Pro. I saw a picture, like neon green lithium batteries. So they're getting more and more local. They're starting to become more and more of a mainstream thing. They're still really expensive, but I would say they're worth it. You guys keep them away from extreme temperatures, both extreme cold and extreme hot. Like put them in your house somewhere where it's climate controlled. All right. You've got away with running everything off one Group 27. Oh, how did you do that? Like everything, like the trolling motor and accessories and the starting battery, like you ran it for all those? Okay, I mean, so it hasn't exploded yet. Tin Boat Man, I mean, that's good, but you really should look into getting another battery, at least one more. So how my setup is, yeah, that's, and really also you can run it, a lot of people run their accessory batteries as their starter battery also. And I would tell you not to do that also. And a lot of people would also tell you not to do that, just to get your own separate starter battery. And that's where you would look for like a Group 24 MS or an MS2, which has a lot more cold cranking amps to get your motor started, but it doesn't have near the playtime of a deep cycle. So I don't think your boat constantly, having the alternator on, recharging the battery should be recharging a deep cycle battery like that. So that's not great. And so, but then the bad thing is you have an extra 45 pounds of battery weight, and that's got to go somewhere. So what I've done is I just don't use a starter. I pull that cord. So if you're a healthy adult, and you're not older, or you don't have a blown out shoulder, or there's some reason, and if you're strong enough to pull that cord, you should just be pulling that cord. You should cut the starter. You should cut the starter battery. I know it's nice, but there are sacrifices in the tiny boats for sure. I don't know what Sitka construction foam is, but if it's closed cell AB foam, you probably can use it. What kit would I recommend for a 3 rear hatch and 3 long hatches? And the biggest kit that we have, like our Boss kit, or you can do like a Pro XL. I think we have a Pro XL, and then you can get some extra pieces of aluminum in there. But I think we have a monster kit too. Definitely a 17-foot boat is big. With every foot that your boat gets, it's weird. You would think just one more foot is not that much more material, but I swear the one more foot and the 6 inches more width, it just takes way more material. I don't know why. I don't know the science behind it, why it's like that, but it always just takes an obscene amount of like stuff. So I would get the biggest kit possible if you have a 17-foot boat. That's a big boat. And then also Nate will customize stuff right for you. And Nate also has drop-in dry hatches, which is substantially easier to do than my Gen X system. My Gen X system is if you like to do things raw. Like if you like to wing it, like me, I don't do schematics. I look at it and I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I do. But if you just want a blank slate and you don't know what you're going to do and you're just going to create from the soul, the Gen X kit is the best thing. But if you want pre-made hatches, you already know the exact layout of what you want. Definitely NCB Accessories will take care of you. Nate will take care of you and just give you hatches that will drop right in. The cost-effective 2-bank chargers. We have Dual Pro, Real Pro chargers on our website. I think those are the best chargers. Like for an economy charger. There's also, to not be biased, but I am because I like Dual Pro. But there is also the Pro Mariner chargers, which I would probably say are pretty good also. I would stay away from the NOCO chargers. Didn't have the best experience with them. They're also deceivingly big. Like, they look small. Everybody likes the NOCOs because they look small in the picture. They did a really good job of making them look like they're tiny, but they're not. They're fairly big. They're just as heavy, and I don't like them. They look cool though. The NOCO Genius chargers are the coolest looking chargers, but we had problems with them. Also, try and find one that does not the lowest amount of amps. Like if you get like a 12 amp battery charger, that's 12 amps hitting your battery. It's going to charge your battery faster, but it's going to be less full. Kind of like how you pour a soda into a glass and there's the fizz. The faster you charge it, the more gases and stuff build into the deal. So the lower amp charging is actually better. It'll take your battery longer, but it will be more full. And if you run like the little 2 amp, little trickle chargers from Walmart, I ran those forever. I grabbed like 3 of those little trickle chargers, I taped them together, I loomed all the wires and stuck them into a tri-extension cord, and then I just charged my batteries like that for a long time. It's super annoying to have to hook those up and out, but your batteries last a really long time. You should also be watching the water levels, those caps, checking the water in those caps, making sure they're capped off and full. Because if that's not, that'll really decrease the life and decrease the performance of your batteries. Bob Millis, experience with Minn Kota chargers. I do not personally, but I will tell you that everybody who talks about Minn Kota chargers loves them. It loves them, and a lot of people say they're the best. I cannot tell you from personal experience whether or not they're the best, but I will tell you the vast majority of people love Minn Kota chargers. And Minn Kota is and Humminbird together, they're like an elite level company. They're like everything they put out, they don't put anything out unless it's done right. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I would run full bird setups. Like I don't like sponsors, but if Humminbird and Minn Kota said we'll sponsor you, I would cave. I hope you guys don't judge me for that. I would cave for them, and I would cave for Mercury, but that's it. Nobody else. All right. Nate's store is open for sure. His shop is open. He's got a shop. He's not got a store. He does have a store. We sell his products, but yeah, he's open. How about side pods? Side pods. Okay, yeah, Nate, you got to answer that question. All right. Okay, a lot of stuff happened there in the chat when I was ranting about the battery chargers. I think the G3 boats are pretty good boats. I've got a lot of good feedback on them. I haven't seen one personally, but I think the majority of people like them. They've also have not been around very long, like say a boat from the 1950s or 1970s, to where you can really test how good a boat is over time. But I will say in the interim basis, G3 boats are pretty nice. I don't even know anything about War Eagle boats, Tin Boat Man. I never even knew that was a thing. So, and it is a lot of work. Ira Burton, you are correct. A 17 boat, that is a lot of work. A 16 boat is 16 foot boat is a lot of work. Though a 17 foot boat is just that much more. What's going on, PGRV? How are you? Hi, Mike. Really enjoy watching your channel. Thank you. Appreciate it. You got a G3 V14? Sweet. Is it like red? Is it like maroon color? I think I've seen them. They have a few out here in Havasu for selling. I was going to get one, but I didn't. It seemed like it had gigantic float pods in the back. I didn't want to. If you see my camera shaking, it's because I have to keep touching my phone to scroll up. Garmin Vivid 7? I don't even know what that is. Garmin has a Vivid fish finder? I didn't even know they made that. I didn't even know that. I have to look into that. I want to. Okay, so for Lonnie, do you know if the tracker... Sorry, do you know if there is a tracker boat with that hatch that spells Bass Tracker No, I think that was a vintage thing, and I would maybe they have it on the vintage Bass Tracker. If you buy a Bass Tracker vintage, maybe. But to my knowledge, no, they didn't do that. Daniel, thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it. What is the best, most cost-effective trolling motor for a tiny boat? Like, cost-effective in terms of what? Just like a straight-up trolling motor? The Minn Kota Edge is probably the most cost-effective. 55-pound Minn Kota Edge is by far the best economy trolling motor. Yeah. That being said, I hate them, but they are the best if you need an economy budget trolling motor. The best budget Spotlock trolling motor is the Motor Guide XI3. That's Spotlock. It is fully electronic, and the electronic foot pedal stinks, but the Spotlock and the actual remote controls are really good. It's about $1,500. To get into a Minn Kota Ultrex, you're looking at $2,500 plus for a super basic one, and then $3,000 plus for the iPilot Link. So I would just, if you can swing Spotlock, I would get it. Put it that way. I think it's invaluable. So fire and metal fishing with, that's a long name. YouTube lets you have a name that long? That's it takes up the whole screen. Cool. Like, you see what you got here. Would you recommend building off the stock deck at the same pitch? Yeah, if the stock deck height is good for you, I would just stick with that for sure. That makes it a whole lot easier. You don't have to re-put holes in the side of the boat. You can just use it, cut into it, keep a little 1.5 or 2 inch gap on the side to use as basis to rivet or secure your new deck to. Run side, cross beams, run it all. All right. Are boats built today better than? Yeah, Bob, they are built better today. There's still bootleg stuff happening everywhere. But they are built better for sure. I would imagine. They can't be built any worse. No, I think everything that we've witnessed says that they're built maybe a lot better. Okay, cool. I hope that when you're done with your tracker, come and post it to our Facebook group. We like to really see, that's where our community is. I don't promote Facebook a lot, but I should. We have a really nice, good group. It's reaching pretty high numbers. There's almost 100,000 members in there, really active. People post all the time. We get really good feedback, 30 to 100 comments per post generally. That's on a general basis. So if you're looking for really good feedback and maybe I missed your question here and you don't hate Facebook, like you could put up with it, you should definitely join that group and just use it just for that. Because what Facebook really is good for is creating and establishing online communities. And so it really is like a small city of tiny boaters. The best way I can describe it. Yeah. All right. What would you seal closed cell foam after cutting it? Yes and no. Like, if you cut the closed cell foam on the subfloor, yes, you should seal it. Now, people said you can just paint over the foam and seal it that way, and that does make sense. If you want a serious long-term solution after you cut the foam, then you could just epoxy it. Like if it's a straight closed cell foam floor with no channel in the middle, definitely you would have to recoat it. If you got a channel in the middle and you had to do a little cutting, it's not too terrible because all the water is going to divert into the channel. You don't have to worry about it cluttering. And as long as you sealed your top deck too, you shouldn't have to worry about it too much also. So, I generally like to run drain ports where the water will gravitate to from the side. If it runs to the side and it'll go down and flow into the channel. I would say, no matter where you are, try to create a middle channel for your boat. And that's like the best subfloor you can possibly have, is one with a nice middle channel where everything drains to. If you leave it up to the spines and say a flat bottom Jon boat, they're only going to carry it so much. If you leave it up to the natural rib system, In a regular boat, it's only going to carry it so much. But you have one big giant channel in the middle. The water will collect there, and if it doesn't completely drain out, it will at the very best start evaporating out, and it will. It's the least cause of damage right there if you can have a middle channel to drain it all. All right, Chris, very good to hear it. Wife just brought you. Your wife bought you a Minn Kota Ultrex. Can you have her talk to my wife? My wife doesn't buy me crap. I hear about all these guys getting fish finders and trolling motors from your like girls. I'm just like, man, no. I wonder what the in is. I wonder what you're doing. I don't know. I'll have to find it out. What screws do I use to secure the floor to the deck? I try to use rivets, 1.5 long rivets, for a wood deck. For like an aluminum deck, you just got to use like, 1/4 or 1/2 inch pull rivets. We generally use them countersink. You can run the regular ones, but they'll show through whatever you cover it with. So I would try to make the subfloor aluminum. If you have to run an all wooden deck, fine. But the subfloor gets beat up all the time. It gets the worst of the worst. So if you can put a aluminum subfloor minimum, try and do that. I would definitely try and make all subfloors aluminum if you can. And if you can't do that, then make sure you at least resin coat the wood for your subfloor. At least, it's like, as far as like super important things you shouldn't skimp on in terms of priority, the transom and then the subfloor. And obviously like the rivets, making sure the boat has no leaks before you even start the project. Your wife bought you a 225 Yamaha? What does your wife do? She sounds like a stand-up person. Tell her thanks for me. I'll just live vicariously through you. If she talks to my wife will just give me hassle for it. Let me see. All right. Good to hear, David. Tyler Love, do you think it makes sense to put an oxygenator on a timer? No, I don't think they draw that much amperage. Not like a bilge pump will. The oxygenator is super quiet. It is like super tight and super small. Like you gotta look at that thing to make sure it's on, and it looks like steam in the water. But I can't imagine it's not noisy. It doesn't make any. I don't think it really draws that much amperage. They're really nice. And very efficient, which is why they're so expensive. All right, so we're pretty good here. What's going on, Mikey? How are you? Looking at getting a 12-foot Jon boat. I like low for Jon boats, if you can swing it. That being said, I've never seen a low dealer, and the trackers are very nice still. But if low and all weld are like my favorite Jon boats. If I had to pick actual name brands, it's those two. And specifically, the all weld boats are really, really nice. They're all welded, no rivets. Nate, Nate, call me. You call me with a trivia question, dude. I'm seriously drawing a blank. Why do you think I just gave all the stickers away? Because I'm like fresh out of questions. I've been burnt the whole week. You want to do a $50 giveaway? Then give me a call right now and you tell me what I should ask them. Because I conveniently have 2 phones right now. So we'll see. We'll see what Nate does here. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see if I can form a question. What a good question I ask people. Okay. All right. I got a question. For those who have been in the chat longest, and for those who have really good memory, for $50, a giveaway from Nate, what's the name of my new media company? I mentioned it, and some of you have been floating here the whole 89 minutes. So, these lights are really bright now. It's getting dark outside. You brighten these. Make me look like all flared up. All right, what's the name of my media company? You guys remember? which what it is. Yeah, there it is. Who got it? Somebody got it. Fishing the Southwest got it. All right, Nate, that's who you got to give the $50 away to, man. Cool. Congrats, dude. Congrats. Uncan Crew, Titan. No, it's not Titan Media. It was going to be that, actually, but it didn't end up being that. Somebody already has the domain and some other stuff. So that one's kind of popular. But it is Drax Media. Fishing the Southwest got it. So Fishing the Southwest, you can DM me either directly or you can find at Nathaniel Eckold on Instagram and direct message him directly and just bypass me. I mean, why do you want a middleman? You can bypass me and just tell him, hey, I won. I mean, he also knows you won because he's here watching. So very cool. DIY Titan is actually my other channel. So it's not my new media company is Drax Media and Umbrellas, all my YouTube channels, plus photography and filmmaking for the local stuff that I'll be doing here in Lake Havasu. If you're down here, hit me up because I now have an actual physical shop. We might even be able to have you here as a special guest on a podcast. I mean, we have some pretty cool options now to have a space. You know, I don't have to be crammed up in my house. You know, like my kids are running behind me, making all kinds of noise and fighting while I'm trying to record. Like quietness like this, impossible to get in my house. This is really, really nice. Generally, it's in my garage, and that's not that great. I mean, the only times I've ever been able to run a live in my house is never. Never ran a live in my house. Never been able to. We ran this live here today, uninterrupted, for 91 minutes. This phone is running pretty well. What's my battery life? I can't tell. Can't tell the battery life. Well, hey, sweet. Well, hey guys, I think everybody's kind of questioned out. I think, okay, one more question for Chris Barnett, and then we were ending this because my voice is starting to go here. Talking a lot. Mike, what model Jon boat could I have with a 6-foot wide transom? Like wide at the bottom? 6 foot wide, like 52 inches. I'm sorry, no, that's 60. How many inches is that? I'm really bad at math, but that's a lot of inches. Dude, I don't know. That's got probably like an 1860. I don't know. Like that's like that. That's an extremely wide boat. 6 foot in the bottom. That's you're looking at an 18-foot Jon boat. 72-inch, yeah. You're looking at a big boat, like 17-foot minimum. Thank you, Paul, for doing the math. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay, somebody put down Drax. Dude, there must be a serious lag for people here somewhere down. I'm getting 5G. Did you know like internet for like a commercial space is like 3 times what it is for a residential space? It's a bunch of crap. So we'll see if I don't end up having to pay $300 a month for Wi-Fi here. Hopefully like the Wi-Fi they give me will be sufficient, or we're just gonna be streaming off 5G or LTE, whatever it is here too. All right, guys, thank you much. I appreciate it. All right, seriously, last question for Steven Christoph. What lights did I use on the previous boat that turned on when you opened your hatches? Those are just like courtesy LEDs from like Walmart, I think. Like Shoreline Marine, like we have the same LEDs in our store, and I actually have them on my Amazon store as well. So they're that's just all courtesy lights. We ran them all to a single master switch and flipped them on, and so they were on. If you saw them on when I opened the hatches, because they were on. I have wanted to for the longest time run individual switches and hatches, but it just seems to be terribly inefficient. Like in order to do that, you'd have to compromise space that's needed for something else. And we have never done it in a tiny boat just because it ends up not being efficient. And again, we're gonna end this. Nate does custom builds. Check him out at Nathaniel Eckold on Instagram and here on YouTube. I think he's Nate Eckold TBNation. So all right, well we'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna cut out of here because it's like legit getting dark outside. My wife's probably wondering when I'll come home. All right, guys, talk to you guys later. See you.